Hello everybody, welcome to my Ask Svet about the crypto channel where I review and analyze white paper, and here our expert Chris, who got bench experiences with different cryptocurrencies whilst educated other people in the Dan Educational Center, and he's gonna help me now and criticize my reviews and maybe making some other valuable points.
Well, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Today I briefly review one of the popular chains white paper. Name is Ontology. The name of paper is a new high performance public multi-chain project and a distributed trust collaboration platform. And I'm gonna rank that white paper on vision subrating, which includes Singularity, Volume, Empathy, and Timeline. Singularity basically tells you how unique the project is. Volume, it basically takes you through the market side of the project, saying how significant is the targeted auditory, how many potential user can coin has, and so on and so forth. Empathy, it's like more or less like emotional impact of the coin. So sometimes people became excited about the coin just because they like the brand or because it's
Their
just
influence, maybe, right?
yeah, it's influence amongst the most addicted part of the token users. And then we have timeline. It's basically a review of the project future, what they expect to do with their coin, how they will develop. So, okay, so I'm citing now from the paper. It says, Ontology is a blockchain distributed ledger network which combines a distributed identity system, distributed data exchange, distributed data collaboration, distributed procedure protocols, distributed communities, distributed attestations, and various industry-specific models.
That sounds like a lot of stuff wrapped into one sentence, but also one protocol.
It actually is, and that's why when I start to review and analyze it, that's why I think that maybe Ontology isn't focused enough. Maybe they're going about too much of the stuff, but I will continue, right? So this paper has been rewritten, actually, to accommodate, as I think, the new ONT vision, which initially, I actually read this white paper back in 2017, and that one presented itself the 2018 version. In that previous version says that their vision was to become a decentralized store of digital assets.
That makes sense to me as to why they might want to update their vision if that was their initial vision in 2017.
Exactly. So there is a very strongly emphasized identity and also what they call a distributed trust system. Again, citing Ontology is devoted to building a trust ecosystem through its decentralized service. So what I think is that a shift in a vision might happen because of the competition. So many platforms now going after this digital asset space that Ontology probably feel themselves a little bit endangered. Maybe they are doing that in order to be able more noticeable amongst the public.
It sounds like they had to, if they didn't have any unique differentiator with trying to, sell themselves as essentially, providing digital assets, you have strong competition with Ethereum. You have strong competition with, some of the other Chinese blockchains as well. So it makes total sense that they would have to try and find a new angle to grasp onto.
I think I disagree with this point. I guess it's fine to change one's core value. as time goes by. However, that raises two questions. What had caused these changes? And the second, should we now expect more of those changes in the future? Whatever answer might be, ontology, singularity, or uniqueness has not been notably improved in my eyes because of that. Even if they're changing from, say, we are only for digital assets to now saying, okay, we are identity platforms. How many other platforms which are emphasize identity you know?
A lot.
Almost a dozen. I think you as well. So that's why I think that from the identity or uniqueness point of view, a result for ontology is disappointing and ranking on a C level, which is the lowest level, and then in the category. As to the volume or the potential size of their market, I actually don't doubt that there is still so many users that they will be able to reach the sufficient saturation on the network. Yes.
You think will be able to?
Will
or
be able.
As opposed to have the potential to?
It's first you measure your market and then you try to occupy this market. And what I'm saying is their potential market, not the niche which now they will occupy because of the competition, or will not occupy because of the competition. It will be big enough. What I'm saying is that I'm rating their volume on the A level because that market is still very big. Just imagine how many applications have we in for blockchain we have in identity space, right? So it's, you name it, right? All financial system require identity. All licensing require identity, real estate, and so on and so forth. That's maybe why they are kind of shifting and they're changing their managers' view on the future strategy of ontology.
And also, I mean, based on all of the keywords that they were describing in that initial description, if we were to, project this idea 5 years in the future and say they've reached their goals, they've built out everything, that would be an amazing protocol, in my opinion. They would have, if they could actively build out all those things that they mentioned, it would be fully functional. You could do so many things that people are talking about as potentials of blockchain technology with this identity focus around it, which I think is that, on the vision side, that sounds great. That makes a lot of sense.
That's a beautiful point. They put so many different
buzzwords or like vocal
exactly,
points.
But implementation
is completely different.
Show us our money, show the results. Of course, I cannot criticize them based on their plans. It's very good to be ambitious. That's what I think. But it's going to be very difficult for them to reach so many objectives at the same time. Going on. So, ontology, emotional appeal, empathy, is now dwindling from my point of view because its vision seems to be out of the focus. Because of there's multiple things they want to build in their blockchain. First of all, it's confusing. If you are not, you didn't have a time to read all these technological papers, if you don't have too much time to spend on ontology and getting interviewed, listening to interview to their managers, or going to their website and checking out what they really mean by that, you're going to be confused. You remember that text which I read at the beginning of that video, right? It was long, and it included at least a dozen different points. So that's why I says that their empathy is now much less than it used to be in 2017, and they put it on a B- level.
And also the time spent where if they're shifting their focus and they don't have much to show for that initial time before they did that, then a new shift is now like, okay, maybe they weren't able to succeed on this. Their credibility goes down, and I guess it's harder for you to like believe in them, I guess.
Oh, that's right. Because if they have, if for example you are launching a project and you have a very tight group of the initial investors or people who supported you, then you suddenly change into something new, right? And then you of course you can achieve you can attract other people or form another group of supporters, but you're losing the previous one. But moreover, the people who was initial supporters still expect you to implement the same vision, even in a modified form.
Yeah.
Because they didn't say in that paper that, okay, guys, we won't be digital asset platform anymore, and we're going to be identity platform. No. They're saying we're going to be doing this, this, and this, and this. So they're getting in more and more troubles, from my point of view. And that's why I actually I wouldn't say diminish their rating, but from my point of view, this platform is becoming less attractive. Specifically, if we go to the timeline, and timeline for me is where people show can they deliver or not. Because if you avoid talking about timeline in the white paper, it's a not good sign.
It doesn't show like there's an execution plan behind your
well, maybe it's not necessarily true. Maybe sometimes people don't want to show that because they don't want to put timeline on the paper because they don't want to take any unnecessary obligations, right? They kind of saying, okay, we do some, for example, Ethereum like to do that. So Ethereum, they do not publish any timelines, but they still deliver. However, yes, well, sooner or later. We trust Vitalik, you know. But in Ontology case, it's different. So my feeling is that I don't really know, and that's why I put a C rating on this as well. So the result is, so for the vision, again, it's a sub rating, and it includes singularity, uniqueness, volume, market, empathy, it's emotional impact, and a timeline. And sub rating is C for singularity, A, it's the highest rating for a volume, B minus, it's almost very close to be like a worst rating on the empathy, and C for timeline.
It sounds about right. Based on this description, I would not be inclined to want to look too much more into Ontology right now.
Well, I wouldn't be so kind of dismissive because it's just part of the business.
Yeah, of course.
And you always have to be careful to do your own research because it's my opinion. Of course, maybe I spend more time than you reading this, but it's still only part of the company because there is a business part and there is a technological part which is not covered by that sub rating. I have a different rating for this one, and of course we have a tokenomics, right? It's very important when you have maybe that this token will perform beautifully. What I'm reviewing here is their vision side or their, you can tell it's strategy, most general thing. However, that's what it is. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you will be with us next time. Thank you, Chris, for your thoughtful comments, and actually thank you for supporting my position, right?
Of course.
Although probably you have to more criticize this if you are kind of being investor, so you probably have to take that and defend, but I assume you are not.
No. Not in Ontology.
Anyway, thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye.